right.
Serena.
Serena with your Dallas Sports. Coach Donovan Mitchell said that come playoff time, Karis LeVert can really be an X factor for this team. Why can't he be that X factor?
I mean, he's a guy who can create his own basket. And, you know, in the playoffs, it comes down to it a lot of times, can you beat your man? You know, everybody knows what sets you're running, you know, where you're going to be on the floor. And it's just a matter of matchups, and can you attack the right matchups and get good looks not only for yourself but also for your teammates.
One of the things, Darius, said recently about what makes Donovan so special is that he really does take criticism and accountability. Is there any examples of that from this season that stand out as a quality of his?
Yeah, I mean, the first meeting that he and I had in person, what he said to me was, no matter what, just keep coaching me. And he's asked for that. And time again, you know, when we have to coach him, you know, he's open to it. You know, he doesn't get defensive. You know, in game, after game, film sessions, like he takes it all in because he wants to be great. And he knows in his position, if he's held accountable, then everybody will be held accountable.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, JB.
What's up, Chris?
How did Jarrett come away from the previous game dealing with the groin issue?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are no lingering concerns with that or anything along those
I
lines?
mean, it's the groin, so it's always on your mind, but, you know, he's no worse and feels some improvement.
Have you decided yet how you're going to handle the next two games after this if you guys clinch tonight?
No, we'll worry about that when we get there.
And then Evan is somebody who has been impacting games in a variety of ways. When you talk about his offensive evolution, like what have you seen from him specifically in that realm recently during this stretch?
I mean, again, his ability to get his own shot. You know, he's been he's been ISOs. When we need a basket, you know, his teammates are looking for him. I think he's grown in how he attacks mismatches. You know, teams early in his career, his first year in the beginning of this year, you know, teams were switching a lot. And, you know, we weren't effective at getting him the ball and allowing him to go to work. I think now you see him punishing smalls more and in different ways. You know, sometimes it's the post up, and then sometimes it's the recognition of just get to the dunk spot, and now I'm just going to kill you on the offensive boards. So I think his recognition of where and how to attack has grown for sure.
Thank you.
Kelsey with The Athletic. I know Isaac is listed as out tonight, but did he make the trip with you guys?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay.
We let everybody get some sun.
Okay. How is he progressing so far? I mean, I know it's kind of been this weird process for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that we'll manage kind of day to day with him. Obviously, with always looking at the big picture in the long term and not doing anything that'll put him in a compromising situation. So, you know, day to day he's progressing, and we'll just see how long it takes.
How is he handling it? Like, how do you, in those conversations you've had with them, because he is such a competitor and wants to play in this first stretch of games he's missed?
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy for him. You know, there is frustration, and for all the right reasons. I mean, you know Isaac and where his intent is and where his heart is. Like, all he wants to do is be on the floor competing with his teammates. You know, and he takes pride in his ability to be available. So it is frustrating for him. You know, he keeps a pretty even spirit all the time. So he knows how to, you know, engage his teammates, keep it light, still show his support, but you know on the inside it's eating him up.
Thank you.
Second row right.
Coach, you guys are 31-9 at home, 18-21 on the road. How important is it to execute here in Orlando against a team that's playing some of its best basketball of late?
I mean, you know, we always and continue to try to focus on how we can improve. You go back and watch the games on the road to see the difference in what we're doing at home and on the road. You know, you take a look at what we've done lately, and we've been much better on the road. You know, and I think it's a matter of just being comfortable with one another in adverse surroundings. You know, you go back and take a look at some of the earlier games where we had leads in the fourth quarter that we didn't close out on the road. You know, for different reasons, whether it was shot making, whether it was defensive stops, and then you look at how we've progressed through it. So I think our guys have gotten better, more comfortable, more prepared for what the surroundings and the environment are going to be. And I think that's been helpful for us.
Joe G.
Joe G,
second unit. Are you completely locked in on the rotation, who the second unit's going to be going into?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have the guys, but again, we've talked about specialists also, and we have guys that we're comfortable putting in the game because we know what they're going to bring. Howell to me is a perfect example. Howell can go 2 weeks without playing a game and step on the floor and not miss a beat at what his role is and his expectations are for this group. He'll go in, he'll pressure, he'll pick people up. I think that's where our guys are comfortable and they have an understanding of, at some point in time they've all had opportunity, so they know exactly who they have to be and what they can do to help this team.
And then Ricky's numbers and minutes have been a little bit down lately. Where's he at right now?
He's good, and again, it's on me to get him on the floor more, and so that's one of the things that we will focus on is making sure that he gets his reps up, and then also what we're doing with him off the court as well, out of games, I should say, practice times and those things. So we're going to need Ricky, and we're going to depend on him a ton. So it's our responsibility to get him opportunities where he can be his best.
Coach, best defensive team in the league. Obviously, Allen and Mobley are a big part of that, but it takes buy-in from everybody. What's your principles, and how has everyone fought?
I mean, it's hard, and I think that's one of the things that people don't realize. Like, you have options in this league, especially when you can score the basketball. You can take possessions off, but what our guys have bought into is the environment that we've created and that they've helped build. They don't want to disappoint each other. They trust each other so much, and that's why our defense works the way it does, because everybody has a responsibility, and they have to trust that the next man is going to do theirs in order for them to do their part. And it is that chain of events where, if it's my job to protect the rim, somebody's got to protect me, and then somebody's got to protect that guy. So it's a trust that we have in one another. It's a selflessness. We always talk about offensive guys being selfish, but there are selfish defensive guys as well where I'm just not going to let my man score. So now you're playing the pick and roll. You're not helping on the roll because you don't want your guy to score. So, our guys are selfless and they're highly competitive, and I think that's what's helped us so far.
Second row right.
Coach, Jamal Mosley preaches doing things by committee. Just Sunday night, 8 players scored in double figures for Magic. Is there still a player on top of your scouting report, even amongst this playing style? Is there still a player on top of your scouting report in terms of who you want to stop defensively?
Yeah, there's different guys for different reasons, and they have different impacts. Obviously, Paolo, is a guy who can really get it going and put a ton of pressure on your defense. But you watch him as well and how unselfish he is. Like when he gets in traffic, like he easily makes the right next pass to create for his teammates. Franz obviously has the ability to put the ball on the floor and get in your paint. So there's different things, and you kind of have to pick your poison. You can't go out and try to stop everybody, but you have to continue to play your system and hope that your system can frustrate him enough that it slows some of the guys down.
Last two, back row standing, and then Chris.
Which players have you seen the Magic grow the most from when you guys played them early this season till now?
I think the thing that helped them obviously is they got healthy. When we were playing against them early in the year, they weren't healthy, especially in their backcourt. I think Markel has had an extreme impact on this team. His leadership, his ability to kind of draw people together and create for everybody else, I think has been huge. But you watch them and, they take defensive challenges. They play extremely hard. They share the basketball. They look like from the outside they enjoy helping one another and playing with one another. And, what people want to rush is the process of becoming a team. And when you have young guys in particular, like it takes time for them to come together and understand what team really is. And when you watch this team play, like they figured that out. They've been coached well, and the guys have bought into, something bigger than themselves, and it's easy to see why you're playing.
Last one, Chris.
JB, to clarify something on Isaac, you said it's about the big picture. You're looking at the big picture. Do you mean that in terms of this year or beyond this year?
This year.
Okay.
Yeah, just this year.
And then with Evan, he's one of the league leaders in contested shots, and especially from the three-point line. Is that something schematic within your defense, or is there something else that you see that has led to that?
It is part of what we do because he is playing more of the 4 than the 5. So traditionally, your 5s are in or around the painted area. and your fours, the way the game is gone, are spread. And then he gets involved in more of the perimeter actions with guys who pop and play in space. So he ends up in those areas a lot more. Plus, he's rangy. So what he does is a really good job of being in to protect the paint initially, and then he can get out to contest those three-point shots where a lot of guys, once they're stuck in, there's no way they can get out on the perimeter to contest shots.
Thank you.
Okay, no wrap. Coaches, thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.